Hey look, it's breathing. Hello, welcome to another Filament Dryer review video. This is iDryer, a DIY open source plastic drying system for 3D printers based on Klipper. And this box is sent to me by one of my viewers. This is not a sponsor video, I didn't get any payment to create this review video. This channel has its own sponsor and that's the Polymaker. Few specifications from the GitHub page. Allows temperatures up to 90 degrees Celsius, which is a little bit suspicious because I know it should be printed from the ABS and this temperature is on the edge of the acceptable for this material. It has chamber ventilation system controlled by servo, which is smart solution, drying and storage mode, and it is equipped with 100-watt heater element. My viewer asked me to do that sponge drying test, which I regularly do with other filament dryers. And after I finish that, since I don't want to modify my Klipper machines, I will send this unit to the Gergo Print 3D. He will do a tutorial how to connect this with the Klipper. But more about this later. Let's see what's in the box. This is a DIY project and theoretically I should even print these parts, but to save my time, my viewer already printed this for me and it is already assembled. If I know correctly, these white parts are from the glass fiber ABS. This is the front side. And this is the back side, and here we can see some plugs here. USB Type-C, network connections and AC power. And this is the door which will be opened and let out the moisture from time to time. Let's open it. This is the cable. This is a spare part from glass fiber polypropylene, which is very temperature resistant material compared to the glass fiber ABS. Yes, I cannot take it out because I have to take out those screws. There is a temperature and humidity sensor. Currently I'm here with my friend Gergo and we are connected this dryer to the Sobol SV08 Max. And separately in his video you can see how it is connected and you will get instructions to connect it with the Klipper. And now I will do my regular sponge test and then I will analyze the results. We need space for the wires, so we have to take off this part.
And we can flip it back. Perfect.
We seal the holes because they are not necessary for the ventilation, because that's happening here on the back side. So my sensor is located approximately here inside in the center of the spool. And here I can follow the temperature and the relative humidity from my sensor, but also I will collect the data with the laptop. And according to its own sensor, we can follow on this screen. And the dryer will start with this macro PA. Theoretically, it is set to 90-95 degrees Celsius or something like that. But we will follow the temperature even here on the screen. Weight of the empty sponge, 0.672 grams. 2.683, close enough. This will be the location of the sponge. Theoretically, this should be flipped in the opposite direction, but this is now ideal. It's in the center of the spool. Gergo, please start the macro. We can follow the values on the screen and also on my screen, and they are very similar. Currently 66% relative humidity, and here, where is it?
The last reading is 58.7.
Okay,
but for a second enough. They were exactly to the last.
Of course, they are on different location.
Yeah.
After only 7 minutes, the temperature inside is 80 degrees Celsius according to my sensor, which is quite good. According to its own sensor, 110 degrees Celsius. But of course they are on different location. I got this information later. That is the temperature of the heating element and not the temperature of the air in the dryer. It opened the door, letting out the moisture. And approximately after 10 seconds it will close it. And so far only on new Bamboo Lab AMS units I could see these options. Very clever solution. So according to my temperature, it is 100 degrees Celsius inside, quite hot. and according to its own sensor 120, already mentioned, it's the temperature of the heating element. Later I will check if we set the lower temperature, will it overshoot it, for example for PTG drying. Soon it will be a half hour measuring, stable around 100 degrees Celsius inside, and first time I can see the relative humidity below 5%. So the effect of this drying is very good. It's time for the half hour measuring. Please open it. Wow, this is completely dry. .615. It's even drier than before because it had some salt moisture. We will place it back, but absolutely no need. The experiment is almost finished, maybe 10 more minutes. But look at this. 2.3% relative humidity. Incredible. And the temperature stable 100 degrees Celsius. And it's time for the 1 hour measuring. By the way, in the meantime, 100 degrees Celsius and 2% relative humidity. Wow, completely dry. 0.615. I think it was like previous one. Completely dry. It was still turned on, but it was open and now it crashed. And maybe it has some kind of thermal runaway protection, which is fine, but it should turn off only itself and not the whole Klipper system. But more about this, Gergo will talk in his video. And this is the result of that sponge drying test. And after 30 minutes it was even drier than at the beginning because it had some moisture from the air in it. But interesting that even after additional 30 minutes of drying, I couldn't measure any changes. This means it was completely dry even here. Sponge drying and the weight is important, but I think even more important is the collected data. Let's analyze it. First let's analyze the temperature. It's in the red line. And it reached that maximal 102 degrees Celsius in this case after approximately 15 minutes. Here it was opened for the 30-minute measuring. And we can see small waves because it is turning on and off the heater, but it is very constant. And here it was open for the 1 hour measuring and actually it was turned off. And now about relative humidity, you can see it started pushing the moisture from the sponge, and here it was the first opening of the door. And then constantly it just let out the moisture. Here it was open for the 30-minute measuring and here for the 60-minute measuring, but extremely low values. I never saw these low values for the relative humidity. One more measuring, we move the sensor so it will be very close to entering hot air, and we want to see if we set 65 degrees Celsius for PTG drying, what will be the temperature of the entering hot air. Gergo, please set 65 degrees Celsius. Okay. I hope it's visible on the screen too. So if we set the temperature to 65 degrees Celsius, currently the temperature inside is 62, but my sensor is maybe 30 or 40 millimeters above the hot air, so it is good and safe for the filament. Now be careful with the macros. Gergo noticed that for the PETG, for example, it will vary between 65 and 90 degrees Celsius or something like that. But the set temperature is accurate, and about these macros, well, he will talk in his videos. Just to show you, during his drying, the max was 62 degrees Celsius, but it was very close to it even after 6 minutes. Now let's analyze it with the thermal camera, and this was recorded during that sponge drying test. We can see the entering of the wires is not sealed nicely, but the area is not big, so it's completely fine. And this is partly the back side and the side of the dryer. And this was recorded after that sponge drying is finished. Here comes the hot air, but for the touch it is completely hard. This is my job to test the possibilities of this dryer, and I'm really impressed. Especially I like those smart solutions like opening the door and let out the moisture and similar. The possibilities are great, but be careful with the material which you will use for printing of this, because you have to buy the kit. And you have to print these parts yourself. So you have to print this with some high temperature resistant material. It is not easy for use because you have to connect it with the Klipper, but for this I would suggest you to visit my friend Gergo's channel, Gergo Print 3D, and he will create a nice tutorial how to connect this with the Klipper. He will talk more about macros, and definitely I would suggest you to watch that video, and we will publish these videos in the same time, so the link you will find down in the descriptions. Thank you for watching this video until the end, and happy printing and drying. Bye.